For the earth forever turning, for the skies, for every sea, for our lives, for all we cherish, sing we our joyful song of peace. For the mountains, hills, and pastures, in their silent majesty, for the stars, for all the heavens, sing we our joyful song of peace. For the sun, for rain and thunder, for the seasons' harmony, for our lives, for all creation, sing we our joyful praise to thee. For the world we sing, returning home to our blue-green hills of earth, to our blue-green hills of earth.
Let's bring this a little closer here. Welcome to the live in-person
Spirit, harvest the power. Our separate fires will kindle one flame. Witness the mystery of this hour. Our trials in this life appear all the same. Gather in peace, gather in thanks, gather in sympathy now and then. Gather in hope, compassion and strength. Gather to celebrate once again. Gather the spirit of heart and mind. Seeds for the sowing are laid in store. Nurtured in love, conscious refined, with body and spirit united once more. Gather in peace, gather in thanks, gather in sympathy now and then. Gather in hope, compassion and strength. Gather to celebrate once again. Gather the spirit growing in know, drawn by the moon, fed by the sun. Winter to spring, summer to fall, the chorus of life resounding as one. Gather in peace, gather in thanks, gather in sympathy now and then. Gather in hope, compassion and strength. Gather to celebrate once again.
and live Zoom worship service of the Universalist Unitarian Church Riverside. Sorry about the technical difficulties. Okay. We will skip for joining us remotely by Zoom, where we will continue live streaming and posting these services on our YouTube channel for our virtual attendees. I'm Adam Wedeking, President of the Board of Trustees and Chair of the Social and Environmental Justice Committee, and I'll be your worship associate today. Other members of the worship committee who make the service possible include Alec Peck, our music coordinator, who will be monitoring our visual and online connections today, and Kate Lewicki, who's in charge of our sound system. We welcome you to join us this morning with an open mind and an open heart, and with muted electronic devices, please. Welcome to our community, where we strive to seek truth in freedom and justice in love. This is a shared journey, a collective responsibility, and a profound act of faith in one another. We are all in this together, and we are glad that you have joined us here today. Before we move into the service, there are a few announcements we'd like to share. We will mention several websites, email addresses, and phone numbers. At the end of the service, we will leave up a slide with all this information, and it is available on our website. Kay Mallory's Celebration of Life will be held here in the sanctuary on Saturday, August 16th at 10:30 a.m. Our office administrator, Robert, is currently updating our name tags, which I forgot to grab mine. If you would like a new or updated members or friends name tag, please let us know. Contact Robert in the office and give him your first name and last name or a nickname that you'd like to go by and your preferred pronouns, and he will print you up a name tag. This concludes today's announcements. Our time together is brief, but it is filled with joy. In that spirit, I invite you to turn to those around you, greet them, welcome them, and share that joy. For those of you who are on Zoom, you can use the Zoom wave gesture or just wave at your camera. Hello, welcome, welcome. Great. Welcome to all our visitors today, and welcome back to our old friends. We would love to meet you during coffee hour in the parish hall after the service, where you can also find our visitors book. We've got a tablet there or a QR code you can scan. Give us your information so that we know that you were here, and you can get updates on church events. You can sign up for info about all of our different groups. There will be a short discussion after the service to share your reflections with us. And for those of you who are online, the best way to get added to the mailing list is to email the church office at admin@uuchurchofriverside.org. And now I invite you all to sit back, take a slow, deep breath as we move into the worship hour. You are welcome to read with me the mission statement of our church. Our mission is to Our mission is to foster a diverse religious community that celebrates life, affirms the individual, encourages spiritual growth and open thought, and works to advance social justice and environmental sustainability. Today's sermon was written by Reverend Dr. Marilyn Sewell. Reverend Dr. Marilyn Sewell is a minister emerita of the First Unitarian Church in Portland, Oregon, where she served for 17 years before her retirement in 2009. She is the editor of 4 Beacon Press anthologies, including the award-winning Cries of the Spirit. She is the subject of a documentary film, Raw Faith, directed by Peter Weinden-Smith, which won the PBS Human Spirit Award at its premiere in the Nashville Film Festival in 2010. Today's pre-written sermon, Reimagining the American Dream, was added to the UUA website in 2015, so you may notice some differences in the political landscape between then and now. The concept of the American dream has been defined as that dream of a land in which life should be better and richer and fuller for everyone, with opportunity for each according to ability or achievement. This sermon offers ideas related to upholding the American dream by resisting actions that deny life, building closer-knit communities, and encouraging one's neighbor, all based on the UU principles of the world community as it relates to America, justice, the economy, money, poverty, and worth. It also provides some historical perspective on what it meant for early settlers to build a new nation, and how we as a church can be a pivotal point in helping to reshape the American cultural landscape to hopefully resemble a more utopian place. We have 2 lightings of sacred flames. The first is the remembrance candle for the indigenous peoples who continue to cry out for justice and self-determination. We remember that underneath us is the unceded land of several indigenous peoples, including the Cahuilla, the Luiseño, and the Cupeño. We light this sacred flame in their remembrance and in recognition of their ongoing struggle for freedom and dignity. Our second sacred flame is our own chalice, the symbol of our faith. We are blessed with this space and opportunity to live out our common principles, to bring justice, equity, and compassion into our daily lives, to resist all that threatens the earth and her people, and to be part of a world community with peace, liberty, and justice for all. Let these thoughts carry us forth as we journey and worship together. And today's chalice lighting words are "The Great Turning" by Lisa Garcia Sampson. In these wild, historic, and uncertain times, we gather to remember who we are, who we belong to, and what we are called to do. As we light this chalice, may we kindle the spirit of the great turning, the movement for justice alive in this nation today. May we feel it in our bones and in the stillness of this hour. May we sense it calling our name. Now, we try the hymn. Okay, so now we will sing hymn number 121, "We'll Build a Land," from the gray hymnal. Again, it's 121 in the gray hymnal. Feel free to sing as the Spirit moves you. Please stand in body or in spirit and join us in singing 121, "We'll Build a Land."
anointed by God, may then create peace, where justice shall roll down like waters, and peace like an ever-flowing stream.
I don't know if there are solar flares affecting our electronics today or what, but seems to be. Yes.
I will place them all on video. So if anyone wants to watch the video, they'll get them.
Check on YouTube, it will have all of our correct videos. I don't know what's going on with our internet. Okay. This portion of our service is to support our beloved historic church. This can be accomplished in several ways. In addition to the weekly collection, you may send your checks to the church address, which is shown here. You may contribute to PayPal using the QR code that's shown here. It's also on the church website and in the newsletter. I believe there are still copies of the newsletter on the desk there. Stater Brothers Market gives our church a rebate on Stater's grocery cards, which we will have in church each Sunday. You get the full value, and the church also receives a percentage for free. Please see Robert Braun in the church office if you are interested in purchasing the gift cards. Today is 50-50 Sunday, which is held on the fourth Sunday of each month. If you wish to donate to the 50-50 program, half of each designated donation goes to the featured recipient and half to the general fund. This is in addition to the pledge, to your pledge to the church. Please write 50-50 on the memo line of your check or on the cash envelope you find in the pews, little manila envelopes in front of you. Maintenance. So today, our recipient is the maintenance fund. I'm not sure if Avery is around to talk about it, but we have had a lot of work done and needed to be done maintenance-wise. These doors have been closed for some time because our Lemon Street doors don't lock correctly if they're opened. So we need the Lemon Street door locks to be redone. I believe we've got somebody coming in to do that. We have a number of leaks that need to be taken care of before we get rain again. And there's quite a few things that need to be taken care of maintenance-wise, and we use our maintenance fund for that. And so this is the time to donate and help out that fund. So please donate as the Spirit moves you by whatever method works best for you. Thank you for your generosity. To those of you who give your time and your talent, thank you for your generous care and attention. To all of you who have joined us here today, thank you for the gift of your presence. Will our ushers now please come forward to receive the collection? A tote bag will also be passed around to collect food and hygiene items for our local community. Possibly. next hymn. Maybe we can sing it without the video. Our next hymn is number 110 in the Teal hymnal, We Give Thanks. Feel free to sing as the Spirit moves you. Again, please stand and body your spirit and join us to sing 110, We Give Thanks. Let's see how this works.
Precious day, forever clear, past far away, for this time we share, with love and care. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day.
Our meditation today is by Emma Lazarus. The New Colossus is a sonnet by American poet Emma Lazarus. She wrote the poem in 1883 to raise money for the construction of a pedestal for the Statue of Liberty. In 1903, the poem was cast onto a bronze plaque and mounted inside the pedestal's lower level. We invite you to take a moment, sit back, relax, and if you wish, gently close your eyes. Not like the brazen giant of Greek fame, with conquering limbs astride from land to land. Here at our sea-washed sunset gates shall stand a mighty woman with a torch, whose flame is the imprisoned lightning, and her name, Mother of Exiles. From her beacon hand glows worldwide welcome. Her mild eyes command the air-bridged harbor that twin cities frame. Keep, ancient lands, your storied pomp, cries she with silent lips. Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free. These wretched refuse of your teeming shore, send these, the homeless, tempest-tossed to me. I lift my lamp beside the golden door. Now let us pause for a moment of silence and reflection. I would now like to introduce Mari Moores, reading the sermon, Reimagining the American Dream, by Reverend Marilyn Sewell. Come on up, Mari.
Good morning. So many people are probably familiar with the "Give me your tired" line of that. I chose it because it's in theme with the sermon today. Forgive me for not making enough eye contact, but I did not study this. So, reimagining the American dream. The early settlers who risked life and limb to come to this land, a land strange and unknown but full of promise, these early settlers had a dream. That dream included freedom to worship as they wished. It included the opportunity to prosper if they were willing to work hard. It included the possibility of owning their own land, plowing their own field, not being the landless servant or serf they would have been in the old country, where class systems were rigidly enforced and your life was absolutely locked into place by your rank and by your birth order. Although this dream promised much to the individual, it was also a dream grounded in holy covenant with God and with one another. Hear the words of Governor Winthrop, given even before his people disembarked from their ship to set foot in this promised land. He said, "We are entered into covenant for this work. We have taken out a commission." And he continues a bit later, "We must be knit together in this work as one man. We must entertain each other in brotherly affection. We must be willing to abridge ourselves of our superfluities for the supply of others' necessities." And then he moved to the responsibility of this new settlement to the larger world. "For we must consider that we shall be a city upon a hill. The eyes of all people are upon us." A statement of manifest destiny. We shall be a shining example to the rest of the world, a moral light that will guide others into ways of mercy and justice. The date was 1630. This was an amazing dream, the political piece of which was further articulated and refined in a document which came some 140 years later, a document which made a heretofore unimaginable claim that all men are created equal, they are endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights, all people have precisely the same rights, unheard of. This was the American dream. Granted, all people did not fall under the purview of the dream at that time. Women did not, slaves did not, men who did not own property did not. Native Americans did not exactly get a fair shake. But the ideal remained, and though the centuries we have worked to enlarge the scope of that dream, we have had some successes, of which we are rightly proud, but the essence of that dream has been shaken and changed. What has happened to the sacred covenant of ourselves with our God and ourselves with one another? What has happened to that noble experiment? To the country that was to be as a city upon a hill, leading other nations to righteousness and to justice. We are a nation where freedom has now been interpreted to mean that the strong don't have to care for the weak. We are a nation that stinks from corruption at the top, a nation which dresses itself in God language while pandering unashamedly to the rich and ignoring the poor. We are a nation hated and reviled by many other nations and grudgingly tolerated by those who would count us as friends. We are far from that city upon a hill, that moral compass for other nations. Rather, we have decided to build empire that a few might flourish at the expense of the many. Now, with our economy in shambles, with greed and corruption so apparent to all, we have finally awakened to the hard truth that easy money helped us avoid for so long. The economic system that we thought was sound, that could always be fixed, turned out to be a house of cards, a chimera based on false premises, and inflated profit sheets. The good news is that we have come to the point of reckoning. We have had forced upon us a time of reflection that carries with it the possibility of radical change. I say radical change because radical means from the root, and no amount of shifting or tweaking will do when there is no solid core. Our problems turn out to be rooted not so much in economic malfeasance as in spiritual decadence. We have come to understand that the story we've been living by, the cultural narrative, is defunct. I refer to the cultural story of the nation, ostensibly about bringing freedom and democracy to all the world, in truth, about building empire. But I am also referring to the cultural story for the individual, that which defines middle-class goals and aspirations. It's all about competition and getting mine. It goes something like this. You work on your resume starting at about age 2 or 3, get into a good elementary school, get into a good high school, get into a good university where you will make the right connections, graduate, get a good job or a series of them, get married, buy a nice house, have 2.3 children, work hard and consume a lot, i.e. buy a lot of toys, get old and die. This is not a dream worthy of our lives. This will not render a life that will model anything worthy for our children. The emptiness of it will become apparent as these young people reach out for meaning in a society in which the parents serve an economic system that no longer serves them, a system no longer grounded in communal and spiritual values. There is no bailing out a system that is ungrounded in relationship, bereft of moral principle. We have to build from the bottom up on new ground, new premises. Economics, as I see it, is fundamentally a moral decision or discipline. Economics defines our material relationships with one another. That is, who gets what of the resources of a society, and economics defines our relationship with the natural environment. What are we exacting or extracting from Mother Earth, and for what purpose? When we tell our children, starting in their very first year, we say, "Now, Johnny, you have to learn to share." That's economics. Or we say to our 2-year-old, "Let's recycle that juice box." That's economics. The problem with economics as it's treated academically and in the business world is that ethical and moral issues are often left out of the conversation. After all, economics is a science, they tell us. Was it John Kenneth Galbraith who said that if you put all the economists in the world end to end, that would be a good thing? We use formulas, we measure, we predict, and moral issues cannot be easily figured into the equation. Maybe not, but we should consider that the most important things in this world are the things that do not yield easily to the scientific method. The movement of socialist and communist systems towards free market is correct. They need feedback because complex systems cannot function well without various dependable feedback loops. But a major error of neoclassical economics is its over-reliance on only one form of feedback. It looks at prices and markets and little else. Social and environmental costs are excluded, but unemployment and underemployment are feedback. Global warming, or as we know it nowadays, climate change, is feedback. An economy seized up by fear, that's feedback too. Economists have taught us to reify the economy or make it seem like a system of rules and regulations that are real and tangible, a system delivered from on high, a system that just is, like air or water, and is not amenable to change. But the system has been imagined by human beings on assumptions made by human beings, and it can be changed by human beings. So let's take a look at the values that run this country's economy and our lives at the moment. I think we'd have to use words like profit, production, efficiency, consumption, creation of capital. Now let me make myself clear. There's nothing wrong with these words. It's just that they are not ends in themselves. They should exist to serve values larger than themselves, human values. They should exist to serve the common good, to serve human health and well-being, to ensure the care and sustainability of our earth. There are important questions we need to ask. Does our economic system exist to serve families, or does our family structure exist to serve the economic future, or structure? Why should both parents have to work out of the home? Why do we have so little interaction with family members, not even eating together in many cases? Are social structures arranged to bring generations together or pull them apart? Do work structures exist to support parenting, the building of community, the work of citizen activists, or for the efficiency of the economic machine? This economic meltdown will help us begin to ask the right questions, and so will the peaking of fossil fuel, which is upon us. When oil is no longer cheap, and that time will come again and soon, our economic life will shift dramatically. We will be more and more focused locally. We will eat more local food, trade with small businesses close at hand, find ways to work that are more amenable to family life instead of commuting miles each day. We will walk and bike and use transit instead of drive. We will not fly thousands of miles away from home for meetings or to vacation 3 and 4 times a year. We will live closer together. We will share more of ourselves more of the time. We will mend instead of buying new. Some of us urban dwellers will weave and knit and plant and grow. Change is already happening and more will come. This is one of those rare openings in which the scales have fallen from the national eyes, and it is clear to almost everyone that the emperor has no clothes. The good news is that we will now have the opportunity to reimagine the kind of economy we want, the kind of life we want to live. We need to take advantage of the moment to reform the American dream. It's not that people don't understand that we have a problem. It's that people have had their imaginations drained out of them by the constant barrage of messages they receive about consuming, and they have had their energies drained by jobs that have longer and longer hours and less meaning. but the people need more volume. Thank you. But the people need leadership. You know, I think that old Chinese blessing, may you live in interesting times. Our generation has a mission, a clear and evident one. We have a compelling moral purpose which can direct our lives and our energies. Literally, we are about saving the world. So what is our part? The place to begin is at home, that is, with ourselves. Notice what is life-denying and resist it. Just say no for your sake and for your children's sake. Live with the moral authority that comes from compassion and nonviolence. Form communities of people who will sustain you in living as you wish, whether they are study groups or alternative living arrangements or socially responsible, sustainable businesses. Our churches should be central gathering places for such community. Now we structure our lives to serve the economy. What would an economy look like that was structured to serve the people? How would you like to live? Make it happen. You and I belong to a group of people that Paul Ray and Sherry Anderson refer to as the cultural creatives, a growing segment of the U.S. population, already over 25, who embrace a new culture that values diversity, stewardship of the environment, economic justice, and civil rights for all. They say that roughly half this number combines these beliefs with some form of spiritual practice. They call these people the core cultural creatives. It is from these folks like you and me, folks that populate Unitarian Universalist churches, that the new story, the new cultural narrative will emerge. I'm not sure of the exact words you'll choose or how you'll put them together for your story, but some of those words might be love, service, kindness, joy, presence, peace, integrity, stewardship, covenant. These are religious concepts, and this is the beloved community that we are building. I was intrigued by these words of an East German dissident, Rudolf Perot, who said, "When the forms of an old culture are dying, the new culture is created by a few people who are not afraid to be insecure." I started thinking about us as Unitarian Universalists. This is who we are. We are not afraid to be insecure. We are not afraid to search, to go deeper, to find the truth, even when the truth is unpalatable. We are seekers who want to live out of that truth, not some kind of made-up world that might be more momentarily comfortable to live in. Unitarian Universalists, though small in number, can be the yeast in the loaf. Let us, however, be wary of the usual distractions and follies in our movement. I lost my place. It's grown-up time now. We no longer have time for petty quarrels about how religious our language should be, no time for conflict between the humanists and the more spiritual inclined, no more time for squabbles about who is in charge here. The mission of the church is not about meeting our needs. The mission of the church is about healing our world. It is about giving ourselves to something larger than ourselves. Ironically, when we give ourselves in this way, we find that our deepest needs will, in fact, be met. The idealism that caused John Winthrop to say that we have a very special destiny, and that destiny is to be as the city upon the hill, is not dead in this country. I see it in certain young people who are quietly living in a way respectful of our earth. I see it in many creative people who have vision way beyond the popular mind. I know that whenever the human spirit is willing to join with that larger spirit, that new dream can be dreamed and whole nations can be moved. Whoever thought the Berlin Wall would come crashing down, but when the time was right, it came down. Whoever thought that Nelson Mandela would get out of prison after 28 years and lead his nation, but in time it happened. I grew up in North Louisiana in the 1950s in a small, totally segregated town. I literally never saw a black man in a dress shirt. Who would have guessed that I would see an African-American president in my lifetime? An African-American president with a cabinet replete with women and people of color. The time is right for a great turning once again. I am convinced that what is life-denying, what is representative and false, repressive and false, will be known as such, and people who are basically good will follow a new way. Let us be some of those who step out and lead, who dare to once again be the light that blesses the world. So, next week's service will feature an interactive sermon where I will share what the American dream has meant to my ancestors, who came here only fairly recently compared to the history of this nation. And I hope that you will invite others to join us as we are a congregation to bring some stories of what the American dream means to you and your family or to someone you know in the community. Thank you.
Thank you. Our closing hymn is number 355 in the gray hymnal, We Lift Our Hearts in Thanks. Feel free to sing as the Spirit moves you. Please stand in body or spirit and join us in singing hymn 355, We Lift Our Heart in Thanks.
We lift our hearts in thanks today for all the gifts of life, and first for peace that turns away the enmities of strife, and next the beauty of the earth, its flowers and lovely things. The spring's great miracle of birth with sound of songs and wings. Then harvests of its teeming soil in orchard, croft, and field. But more the service and the toil of those who help them yield. And most the gifts of hope and love, of wisdom, truth, and right, the gifts that shine like stars above to chart the world by night.
It's like our internet has healed. The benediction today is May the Love by Frederick E. Gillis. May the love which overcomes all differences, which heals all wounds, which puts to flight all fears, which reconciles all who are separated, be in and among us, now and always. Namaste, Amen, blessed be, and Satu. Thank you, Mari, for sharing your valuable time and the sermon reading with us this morning. It is sincerely appreciated, and we look forward to seeing you again. Like she said earlier, next Sunday, we will have a follow-up discussion on Reflections of the American Dream with audience participation, sharing personal interpretations and observations of what the American Dream is to you. So come ready to share with us next week. We will have 10 to 15 minutes of discussion following the service for those who wish to share their thoughts and observation on today's sermon. Please be aware this will be included on the video that's posted on YouTube. And for the rest of you, you're now welcome to adjourn to the parish hall for coffee and socializing. Is there anyone who would like to come up and share their thoughts?
There was one line she had in there about forming utopias. And some of our conservative brothers and sisters get a little nervous about the word utopia. I think they feel that it rhymes with communism or something. I think that it's whether or not we have a perfect game plan, or whether it's always the same, I think we can do better. And I think one of the things we have to do, just as they've spoken in the space program and said that we've actually forgotten how to do a few things that they used to do back at the dawn of the program, we need to remember those things, remember a rough of the budgets of how much things cost. So when instead of somebody saying, we don't know how, it's like, have the memories, dig for the memories, find the memories, reforge the memories, and have them ready so that when the world turns back, that we still know how to help each other out, how to run a program, how to finance it, figure out how many people does $1 million feed if you've got a nonprofit organization. I think that part of what we're doing is to dream big, and part of what we also need to do is to take the details and keep them tight and strong and ready, so that instead of being called a bunch of cloud-minded people who don't know how the real world works, it's when we can answer them in dollars and cents and show them, hey, we can still do better than what we've been doing now. And it may be that there's some beautiful parts of the world that we want to keep. But you know, there's fiddling with the knobs too. A lot of times when you retire, you've got some hobby, electronics, cars, what have you, where you're always there cranking the wrench a little bit here and there. You're always fussing the details and trying to bring back an old thing that was a good idea then and bring it back to the now and fix it now. I really am not a very good mechanic, but I guess just like at the beginning, we had a little trouble with the music being played. We were used to the machine telling us what to do instead of saying, hey, I've got the melody line for this song, let's hit it. I think that was probably underlying and strengthening what she was talking about today. We can dig, we can find out what we did, and we can do it again. That sure would be nice to have a few more people along the way.
If there is anyone online, you can come up. If there is anyone online, you can just use the raise hand function and we will call. And I can walk.
Okay, I'm going to go on. I missed most of what you said, but I'm assuming that what Bill said would be a reinforcement of portions of your delivery, and I'm sorry. I hiked in from San Bernardino because of parking, so it took me longer with a cane. But silliness aside, something I want to mention. In Riverside, they keep having events. Often they block the roads, etc., but if we want to come, we find a way, even if we come late. What I want to mention is this, the word networking. Networking. Yesterday, I got to, Walt and myself are holding signs about our opinions about things that need to be done. We stand alone sometimes, and Walt I shouldn't be mentioning, a friend of mine, so don't want to pinpoint, but let's just say a really good person suggested I come, and I did. So there are now 2. From 2, there can become 4. From 4, there can become 6. It requires networking. Excuse me. Above and beyond that, while yesterday there was a gathering of people who were marching, community people who had an interest in people and were trying to relay a message. So a Community United marched yesterday. It was a smaller group than the King's one, but it was still people expressing their opinion. They took action at the community level, but it's building a block of networking. In that process, there was also this little stand where everybody was talking about what they were concerned about, and they were and many of the people there were involved with other groups, and they wanted to be there because they were action takers. Well, I seem to talk a lot, as I'm doing right now, but my point is this. I collected some cards, which were very interesting cards, because these were the people who were strongly involved in trying to make a difference. So I have a bunch of little cards with names of people that were actually there. So I'm not, as an older person, feeling it's a scam when I see something that I don't understand, where I might be participating to something that truly isn't what it says. We are living in a time where we have to use critical thinking. We're living in a time where we have to get involved, or later on we will say to each other or say to ourselves, if only I had done it then. Well, then is now. Now, for whatever we care about. And if you network with people that you feel are genuinely there to act now, you have a choice. You may expand your horizons, or you may give these cards to other people and give them the choice of taking action or not. But no matter what, all I'm saying in this very extended, long sentence is take action. If you want change, take action. Don't expect someone else to do it. And use your resources carefully. Do critical thinking about what you're told, because much of this is garbage. Some of it is real. And so I suggest to you, take action. And I have some cards of some networks where I think it could make a difference if you're interested. That's my story for now. Take action. Network, take action. And young folks, you're the future. Oh, hello. What happened? Did I kill something? I didn't even touch it. It was magic. Anyway, the point is, silliness aside, it's up to each of us to spread the word of what we believe is important. Our choices and how they might make a difference for all by what we do and what we pass along. And networking, I think, is vital in all of this. So that's it. Thank you for listening to my extended one sentence. Bye-bye.
She inspired me to share a book that I'm reading that I'm turned me around a lot. It's by Adam Schiff, who's a state senator, rather than a senator from California, one of the two, of course. And it's called Midnight in Washington. And as I said before, I'm a fellow with Maxine Rodgers and Elizabeth Warren. But reading Midnight in Washington, Adam Schiff was designated time after time in the first Trump administration. Is 1916 to 1920. He was called upon to challenge the decency of the Trump administration, and he carried the ball for those years for the rest of Congress and all of us. And Adam Schiff has never been high on my radar until now. But reading the book, I've learned so much about the deception in Washington from Donald Trump at the time, and how he always takes the challenges that are justified against him and turns it into unjustified retributions. Now we know that. We've seen it, but he chronicles it in spades, the work that he did, the work that other people did during that tenure in office for Trump. And I'd highly recommend that if we're going to be successful at keeping Trump out from a third term and just doing damage, excessive damage after the next election, the 2026 election, we would do well to be informed by what the cover-ups and results in the behind the scenes of the first Trump administration had to say. Thank you for inspiring me to get up, Diane.
Any more comments? Again, anyone online, if you'd like to speak, just use the raise hand function and we will call on you. But here comes Mr. Walter.
As Diane mentioned, I've gotten a little bit crazy over this starvation in Gaza. So I held up a sign, "Feed Gaza now." So you're welcome to come and join. We're opposite the Fox Theater, starting Monday through Friday, opposite the Fox Theater on Market Street. Anyway, that's a better thing to say. That talk was excellent. I mean, who would have thought that we would see such things as Martin Luther King and the other great people that were mentioned and their rise. And of course, now there's this huge regression. So that was very uplifting, because otherwise, if I'd been tapped to say something with the current narrowing of viewpoint, I probably would have come up and given a talk that would involve at least the ending from Mad Magazine. What me worry?
Hello. Hello, everyone. You probably don't know me. This is my first time here. My name is Gibson. I was really moved by the sermon about the American dream. And I just wanted to say that it's of my opinion that the new Colossus, the Statue of Liberty, and Ellis Island are the foundation of our country. They're the bedrock. And almost everybody in the whole country is either an immigrant or the descendant of an immigrant, and it's what's made our society. The American dream is not a dream for Americans, it's a dream for everybody in the world, that there's a country somewhere that you can go to where you're represented in government, where you do have rights, where you can fulfill your dreams and I guess live out the life that you want. So I think all of this fear mongering you see everywhere over immigrants is just to have someone to blame for all your problems, so you don't blame the people picking your pockets. And I recently read a book. A lot of you probably already read it in school, but I just read The Jungle, and that's a book about an immigrant who comes to America. And I would highly recommend that book for anybody here who hasn't read it. And that's all from me.
Hi, I'm Lindsay. It's my first time too. I'm Gibson's partner. I feel like the part that really spoke to me was talking about like consumerism and the fact that we have the power to choose what we do and don't consume. And I feel like now it's more important than ever to really look into what companies you're supporting, what companies you're buying from, where's their money going, because in turn your money goes there too. And I feel like we're taught from a very young age that we need to consume. Like it's just embedded in us with everything. And I guess just, be mindful about consumption.
Are there any more comments? I don't see any raised hands on Zoom. Any more comments? All right. Well, if there are no more further comments, thank you for sharing your thoughts. And again, join us in the hall for further fellowship and coffee. Thank you. Have a good week.
Embrace the mystery of this hour. Our trials in this life appear all the same. Gather in peace, gather in thanks, gather in sympathy now and then. Gather in hope, compassion and strength. Gather to celebrate once again. Gather